So, do you have a simple way to describe a systems approach when starting a business?
Yes, I think the easiest way of looking at it is something that everyone can understand. Okay, if we take our own person as a system, we have to recognize that we have all different systems that make our body function. Okay, make us feel good for a day, an hour, or whatever. Okay, so you have your digestive system, right? And the skeletal system and everything. Think of it that way. So if any of the system fail, then you have a problem. And even if you have a headache, you cannot be optimal. You cannot be the most optimistic for the day. You can get annoyed, okay, very easily. What it simply means is all those different systems within you, they are all interrelated. If something is not functioning in an optimal way, it actually affects your performance for the day. And guess what? You interact with me. So that itself is a system, okay? Because you always have to interact with one another. So now if you can think of that way, and think of your car, for that matter, it's a whole system. And each of the components is a subsystem. They're all interrelated. Try and unplug one of your spark plugs.
Right.
It wouldn't work so well even if you can get the car going.
Right.
So in business, dealing with employees and everything, it's very important for us to think in a system thinking way. Because when you do that, you realize that every component is important. Every employee is important. All your policy and everything are important. Okay. So how can you optimize that to make sure that everything is working and working well? Okay. As a system, when they do everything together, when you power it up, all the system would work. Some may be on the standby. If you need your signal for the car, then you flip it this way, then you have the right signal, you flip it the other way, it give you left signal. Okay. In a sports team, the whole team is a system. Each player is a subsystem. So how can you make sure that you have a team that would play all the different roles? Okay. And in that case, because they're human beings, they're trained to do something, right? Let's say you're a basketball coach. All of a sudden you need someone to play a very specific role. You just point your finger and have someone jump right in. Okay, if that person is being trained and understand how the system works, they all play different role. Okay, then you don't have to point your finger at someone and now tell him what he needs to do and all those things. It's too late. Game over. Okay, so in a work environment, it operates the same way. If you're the manager, you are the coach. Okay, you need to make sure that your people know why is it so important when they're being assigned a role that they should be ready to jump right in, not only perform what needs to be done, but do it perfectly. Okay, so that it will contribute to the efforts and success of everyone else. Okay, that is why system thinking is so important, because anytime if you're a manager, okay, if you do not do something that is unfair to one and affect that person's behavior, I can tell you it will affect the entire group, and eventually it will show up in the company, it being allowed to continue. Okay, because the system thinking would allow you to not just think of any specific group, but how it relates to the entire company. And that is why system thinking is extremely important, because everyone play a part. And don't ask me which part is more important, okay? One can argue about that all day long. They are all important in order to be able to work together in the optimal way.
Right, and so we've kind of come full circle back to the clarity of vision of the
Yes.
entrepreneur and
Absolutely.
the way that's communicated to everyone that's a part of that team.
Right.
Good.